Hey everyone, it's me here, and welcome to another second channel video. Now, before I decide on what I want this video to be, I was planning on doing another video today, for the second channel, but I scrapped that project for now just because, uh, I looked into it and then I realized there honestly wasn't enough material in what I wanted to do for me to cover for like a full length video. Which I shouldn't have dedicated myself to that project because, like, I didn't get too far into working on the project before I realized that, but yeah, whatever. Wait, today's video, with JJK ending in just one or two more chapters, I forget which one we are on, but, like, I know the ending is coming in a couple of days from when I'm recording this. And I guess I wanted to talk about the series at least once before the story actually ends. And, well, obviously, I still plan to make more JJK videos because I love the series. I at least want one to be out, one that's, like, relevant and still ongoing. And I decided, even though there are probably more relevant things I could talk about in the series, like, I know Megumi is still showing it chat, but I just, so, like, he's not irrelevant, but, like, I really like Megumi. What I've seen in the community, a lot of people don't like Megumi. So I want to talk about why Megumi's, like, one of my favorite characters in the entire series. Very much going to be like the Rose video I made a couple months back, I think, at this point. But anyway, before we get into the video, two disclaimers. One, I'm recording this at like 8 in the morning. I've been up for a couple hours at this point, but at the same time, still recording a video at 8 in the morning. So if I am even more ranty and unfocused than normal, because if you guys can't tell, I don't use a script for these videos. I do have notes that I follow for what I want to talk about, so it is not literally just me yapping about nonsense for like an hour and a half. I do still, I don't even know what I was trying to say there. This is just an example. Still unfocused even with the notes. And also, just got distracted because my dog assaulted me. And by assaulted, I mean he licked my hand. Also, for anime only, so like, ooh, video on Megumi, I'm gonna watch it. Leave. This video will be discussing arcs that have not been animated and up to, as I sort of mentioned earlier, some of the most recent chapters. So, if you want to not be spoiled for what could be in season 3 and probably season 4, I highly doubt they're gonna get through the whole manga in season 3 and have it still not be rushed as hell in terms of pacing. Leave, and if you're fine with being spoiled, that's your choice, buddy. But let's get to talk about why I love Megumi Fushiguro. Now, I have a lot to talk about in comparison to my Rose video. Rose was like a particularly a minor side character in a series with a ton of characters. While JJK definitely has a good number of characters, nowhere near Bleach, obviously. I mean, just look at the chapter numbers. JJK has like 200 something, and then like Bleach ends in like early to mid 600s. There's just Bleach is way longer, obviously. So it's just Ross says so. Well, I guess not elimination, but just by common sense, you could deduce that these series aren't going to have the same number of characters. particularly Megumi is the deuteragonist of JJK, so like yeah, he definitely plays a large role in the story. So yeah, obviously just it's again common sense. There's gonna be a lot to talk about. Not too much in terms of design. I feel like that's the one thing I don't love about Megami. It's not a bad design. I don't dislike Megami's design, but like it is a very sort of basic design. Now his only real standout trait for the most part is his spiky hair. Which I mean like a lot of characters of this sort of, I guess if we had to use a term, a Sasuke-esque archetype, have that sort of design. So I mean, there's there's the actual character where the archetype spawns from, but no one actually gives the goat his credit. It's always everyone's a Sasuke clone, but I mean that works. You don't ignore the fact that Sasuke himself is a Hiei clone. We have to use that terminology because I mean, like they're still different characters, like. And like, by the way, no disrespect to Sasuke. I'm currently at the tail end, and by tail end I mean I literally have like 2 or 3 more chapters left to read of the Sasuke retrieval arc. I like the character. I just wish not every dark-haired, spiky, rival dragonist character got compared to Sasuke, because I mean like there are definitely similarities between some of them, but like outside of a vague idea of revenge that Gray has towards like the last few arcs of Fairy Tail, what do he and Sasuke have in common besides rival and once again the black spiky hair? That's what I'm thinking. Now besides that, once again, getting back on track, actually talk about Megami. Pretty standard design. I do like how in the more recent chapters his new scars do make him feel a bit more distinct. And I still think Megami has a pretty standard, once again, when I mean standard, like it's an alright design. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Gege's made better designs, but at the same time, I feel like there are some Gege designs that are not as good as Megami. Once again, definitely not the peak of the designs. We're moving on. Now, moving on to Megami's personality, this is where I have a lot more good things to say because while Megami by himself isn't the most entertaining character in the JJK verse, considering he's like my second favorite character in the whole story, I feel like it'd be kind of hard for his design and powers to be the sole reason as to why I like Megami as a character. So yeah, obviously I like his personality. And it's more so who he's paired up with that makes his personality shine as opposed to personality itself. Because once again, he's pretty stoic. He keeps to himself. He's the serious member of the group. And then you have Yuji, Nobara, and Gojo, who all three obviously them being very different characters. They're all very energetic, outgoing, and for lack of a better term, goofy. Which kind of forces Megami to play the straight man. And that leads to entertaining situation. It creates a fun dynamic. While I don't have too much to add on this part of Megami's character, it's just good. It's kind of why I like him. Another aspect of Megami's character that I really like is the fact that when we get this little flashback with him and Gojo, is even as a kid he was pretty stern and earnest. Despite being a first grader at the time, he was able to kind of deduce / assume that Toki had kind of just abandoned Megami and Sumiki, and when Gojo actually met him, he well, obviously wasn't excited to become a Jujutsu sorcerer. He was very much willing to do it so long as he and more or less Sumiki could have a better life. Don't have too much to say on this portion, but yeah, I like this part of Megumi's character as well. And then, kind of, the next part of Megumi's character I want to tackle is his relationship to it with his stepsister Sumiki. Where Megumi sort of has this bit of a complex where he doesn't like bad people because they're like bad people who kind of just do bad things, but he also doesn't particularly like good people because even though bad people are usually scumbags, especially in the JJK verse, like I think Choso is literally the only antagonist with like any real sense of sympathy. Like maybe you can feel bad for Dagon because like Dagon lost his cursed friends, but most of the JJK villains are kind of just evil bastards with like no real sense of sympathy. Like they're not one dimensionally like pure evil bastards because like Gege still does a good job of making you understand why they do the things they do. At least I think most JJK villains have at least a decent or understandable motive. You don't have to sympathize with a villain for them to have an understandable or even some cases relatable motivation for what they do. But as long as the story can make you understand why they're doing what they're doing, that's usually one of the major components into what makes a villain a good villain, at least in my opinion. Well, that ran out of the way, and Sumiki is one of the people who Megumi would describe as a good person that he couldn't stand. Lost my train of thought for a second. Come on, think back. Point where in middle school, as you can see here, Megumi would go around beating up bullies because they were the bad people, and then Sumigi would kind of scold him and chastise him for that. And it didn't take until she was in a coma, or it did take, not it didn't take it, to where Megumi realized he was being kind of a brat about that, and that now he has resolved to be a Jujutsu sorcerer to help his sister. This is a pretty solid core of Megumi's character. This was when, in the story, when we got this flashback and this sort of like revelation about Megumi's character, is when I went from, okay, yeah, I like Megumi, to, oh yeah, Megumi's a pretty great character. Now, on to Megumi and his principles, not just as a person, but as a Jujutsu sorcerer. Megumi, similar to Gojo, doesn't really care about the traditions of the Jujutsu world, despite being an heir to the Zen. Once again, technically, just like don't want to explain the whole Zenin family tree. I could probably do a whole video on the Zenin family tree if I really desired it, but not at the current moment. We're just yapping about Megumi Fushiguro and why he's the GOAT. Has his own sort of sense of what he thinks is right and wrong. It's less about the rules of Jujutsu society and what the higher ups think, and more so what Megumi thinks is right and wrong. So again, at the start of the story, despite Yuji being the vessel for Sukuna and it being the most logical conclusion to just axe him when he only has a single finger, Megumi still thinks, despite being the vessel of Sukuna, Yuji deserves to live because Yuji himself never actually did anything wrong. Now, even as Sukuna, when he only had one finger, he didn't do anything wrong either. All he really did was get humbled by Gojo. Then next up, you got sort of Megumi's sort of resolve for, I guess, why he saves people. Because at first he had a bit of a complex about, okay, who I need to be careful about who I save, because if I save a bad person, they could just hurt good people. Then with Yuji, he finally comes to a realization. Had nothing to do with Yuji being a good or bad person. He saved Yuji because it was the right thing to do. And thus, he kind of vows to save people unfairly just because it's the right thing to do. Megumi himself is a good person, so that's the decision he ultimately makes. And then you have Megumi, and this isn't really a Nobara video, but it's also kind of a Nobara moment at the same time. Sort of strengthened and revolved after they believe Yuji had died. Which, I mean, yeah, technically he died, and so you can but obviously Yuji's still a part of the story post the first arc. Or like, they weren't all too close, not them in particularly, not even with Yuji, because they hadn't known him that long, but the fact that they did lose a comrade on the battlefield kind of steeled their resolve as to what kind of sorcerers and people they want to be. And they'll also throw in Megumi's interaction with Todo pre-Goodwill. Here, the whole what girls you want stuff really doesn't care as long as someone's compassionate. That's just a fun scene. I don't really have too much to add. It isn't too much to talk about, at least in my opinion. Someone else, probably a professional Megumi Glazer, could probably yap about how that's the greatest scene in fiction or something. I don't know. I'm not a professional Megumi Glazer, though I do glaze my boy quite a bit. Then we have, obviously this isn't a whole discussion on Megumi versus Noritoshi, because this isn't any sort of fight analysis. This is just, I'm gonna whizzing past the moments as I'm just trying to talk about them. Once again, Megumi is the deuteragonist of Jujutsu Kaisen, so I kind of just want to talk about everything I can, give my baseline thoughts, and then because we have to talk about the 10 shadows. Now it's a banger curse technique. Then also I just like this because you do have some decent comedy in the fight, because Noritoshi keeps trying to pull I'm Hugh, we are the same, and then you got Megumi going, shut up, bro. No, we're not. Shut up. Then gently when Noritoshi lays, yes, we are both descendants of one of the big three clans, so it is our duty to kill Sukuna's vessel. Megumi decides, nah. Because, I mean, like, he has the powers of the heir of the Zenin clan, and he does become the head of the Zenin clan eventually in the story. But he's not Megumi Zenin. He's Megumi Fushiguro. He decided to save Yuji and chooses to protect Yuji because it's what he has decided is the right thing to do. And that's it. He doesn't know if he quite believes if it's right or wrong, but as he says himself, he just believes in his own morality, which is a banger line. Then there's that portion at the beginning of the death painting arc. I'm starting to forget the names of all the arcs in JJK. Oh no. Yeah, getting of like the death painting arc when they're investigating Megumi's old middle school and got Yuji and Nobara kind of chastising him and scolding him for not really sharing anything about his past. Sorry about that, my dog wanted to leave and he's a bit too young to just walk through the cracked door. But anyway, this is cute, this is funny. It is also once again kind of cute because Megumi is embarrassed about how he used to be. He's not all that different, at least from what we see in the middle school flashback. He's just not as much as a delinquent ruffian as he used to be. Not too much to say. It's cute. It's funny. I like this moment. Then you get the moment in the series where the tough, serious, secretive guy Megumi finally goes and cracks a smile because he's happy that Yuji and Nobara are his friends. Starts when we start really getting into the death painting arc. When Megumi resolves, after he finds out that Tsumigi could be in trouble, he resolves to go on this mission by his lonesome, like he's some sort of Jonin or something. Sorry, I've been reading Naruto recently, so I got Naruto on the brain. Literally finished reading a couple of chapters of Sasuke Retrieval before I decided to record this video. So yeah, I got Naruto on the brain. So if I make any Naruto references, that's why. Those JJK, I should be referencing Bleach and Hunter x Hunter. Because that's peak. That's where Gege got inspired. Then Yuki and Nobara find out that Megumi's going on his own. Like, they're like, yeah, you don't have to tell us everything that's going on. You just have to let us help you because we're your friends. And then, yeah, it causes Megumi to smile. Once again, very nice moment. Like this a whole lot. And then next up, this is probably still my favorite Megumi moment in the entire season. Even entering the final chapters of the story, this is probably still my favorite. The moment when he's fighting the finger bearer, his back is up against the wall, both figuratively and literally. He's about to pull out the failsafe in Maharag, and then he embraces that he is a Jujutsu sorcerer. He becomes selfish. He unleashes probably my favorite outside of like the first Malevolent Shrine reveal. Probably still my favorite domain expansion reveal ever. See, I'm thinking through the series. Is there like a domain reveal? I mean, Yuki casting his domain. One of the more recent chapters was like cool. But like in terms of just I just love the first use of Chimera Shadow Garden so much. Then you got Megumi laughing like a madman. It's such a good moment and such a good fight. Can't help but love it. Then you have the moment in the perfect preparation. Yeah, I should clarify. From here on out, we're mostly like there's going to be a bit of Shibuya mentioned here, but for the most part, like if you didn't heed my warning before, we are purely like talking about contents of the manga throughout this personality section. If you want to skip past the spoilers, I'll try putting the timestamp for when we okay. Guys, this is if you aren't caught with the manga caught up, JJK is great. Wait, after Shibuya, well, I guess actually this is not perfect preparation, but rather the Todori exterminate. Whatever. It has been adapted in the anime. Then Yuki, after Sukuna forcing him to kill hundreds, potentially like thousands of people, is willing to just give up being a Jutsu sorcerer because of the guilt. And then Megumi comes in, tells him he thinks that's selfish. He should still be a Jujutsu sorcerer and save people, and start by saving him by helping out Tsumigi in the culling game. Really good moment. It's pretty minor in the grand scheme of things, but I quite like it a fair bit, I must say. I don't know why I became British. Then you have Maki and Megumi's talk about how she's asking him to become the next head of the Zenin clan, and Megumi really does not care. Like, bro does not care. He's not materialistic, so he doesn't care about social status, so he doesn't care about the wealth or the social status that being the head of one of the big three clans would grant him. He just wants to save his sister. That's literally all he cares about right now. Eventually, Maki pressures him and he accepts. It's a fun conversation. Once again, nothing too much. I mean, it matters more so for Maki's character because I mean, like it's more so important for her that he becomes the head of the clan than Megumi himself. I mean, the only part really helps out for Megumi himself is when they go to get Hikari, and then he just mentions, by the way, I'm the head of the Zen clan, and then Hikari and Kirara are like, Art, we're nearing the end of Megumi's sort of personality. We got like a few more major points I want to touch on before we get to Megumi in battle, and that's kind of going to be it for the video. Then we have, in the perfect preparation art, you see he's begging for Kirara and more specifically Hikari, because Hikari is in fact that guy, to help save Tsumiki. And Megumi overall, very selfless in the sense that he wants to protect others, but he doesn't really care about himself. He will let himself get injured if he can prevent someone else from getting injured. Once again, the whole reason he goes into the culling games isn't because he wants to participate for Kenjaku's plan because, I don't know, it'd be fun or whatever. It's all because Tsumiki got roped into it. Now we have the final home stretch of Megumi's major developments and what he does as a character in the story of Jujutsu Kaisen. And Kenjaku, we're uploading video, of course. That'd be while I'm recording. Anyway, during the culling game, unlike Yuki, sorry, my dog decided to lay on my foot, and he does not realize that he is not a small puppy. He has more muscle mass than a bodybuilder. Bro was trying to crush me. Like, during the culling game, unlike Yuki, Megumi is more than willing to off some people. Because all he really cares about is, and now my dog wants attention, even though I am recording a video, you silly mutt, you silly head. So I'm gonna give you the Itachi forehead poke. No, you don't intercept with the forehead poke, bro. I'm sorry, I don't even know why I'm not doing this off screen. I'm leaving this in the final cut of the video. Bro is just being a brat. Anyway, yeah, Megumi's more willing off mute because all he really cares about is saving his sister. He only kind of lets the cynicism and mistrust that he has throughout the culling game go once he meets Takaba, who is willing to help him. And then, of course, you have the portion once again, even though you guys anime onlys are like still watching this video despite the fact that I said there will be manga spoilers. This is your fault, guys. First time, I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted in this because this is the first time ever I'm trying to play with a dog and record at the same time because bro needs attention. Bro has attention deficit. But yeah, after Sukuna makes Megumi his new vessel and forces him to kill his sister and then just do a whole bunch of other horrible shit while he's piloting his body, Megumi is sent into a dark pit of despair until Yuji is able to reach out to him, and he helps Yuji and Nobara take out Sukuna once and for all. At least hopefully once and for all. Who knows? Maybe he'll manifest in a couple 100,000 years. Who knows? Alright, that's all I have to say in regards to Megami. Oh my god, this dog will not quit up. I'm recording a video. Can you please you have a sister? Go play with her, please. Hey. No. I don't know why I'm leaving this in video once again. Oh, my dog was getting really wild there. Had the smack talk a bit. That's right, I'm looking at you, fool. Wait, that's all I have to say about Megami's personality. Hope you guys can see why I like him so much. Anyway, on to the next portion of the video. And before we get into Megami's battle prowess, in terms of his curse technique, I want to go over Megami's battle IQ, because, or rather IQ in general, because unlike a character like Todo who has an insane battle IQ, while Todo doesn't come off as dumb outside of combat situations, he doesn't come off as some extraordinary genius, whereas Megami is very much a genius in terms of book smarts. I feel like I would rank Todo higher in terms of just battle IQ. But given Megami has is just generally a smart person, he can apply that to battle as well. And while he isn't a physical brawler like Yuji, like Todo, like Nanami, if he needs to get up close and personal with his hands or some of the weapons he carries, then he can provide at least a decent challenge to his opponent. Wait, on to his banger curse technique. Then yet Megami possesses one of what is probably like top 2. I think it's probably like honestly my second favorite curse technique in the whole series. The 10 Shadows technique. The main function of the 10 Shadows technique is the fact that... Sorry, my dog's like next week. He's giving me the silliest eyes known to man. What you doing, little bro? Anyway, the main purpose of the 10 Shadows is that Megami can summon 10 different Shikigami once he uses his shadow as the medium for summoning them. 10 Shadows also possesses a second function, and that is that Megami can hide in his shadow to an extent and generally manipulate it and store things. And when I say manipulate it, he's definitely not a super high tier shadow manipulator. Main power definitely comes from the Shikigami summons. And for example, he's not pulling stuff like Nock or Shikamaru. He's not a high tier shadow manipulator, but like he technically can manipulate his shadow. Anyway, let's move on to the Shikigami that Megami employs in battle. First off, you have his Divine Dogs, or Demon Dogs in dub. I think Divine Dogs are better. It's what the wiki uses, what the manga says, so I'm sticking with Divine Dogs. Also, before we even get into the specifics of all the Shikigami, we won't be going over the Shikigami used by Sukuna once he was possessing Megami's body. For all intents and purposes, Megami should be able to use all those Shikigami, but since we haven't seen him use them, and considering we have like 1 or 2, I once again lost count how many chapters until the end. I just know it's a little over a week until JJK ends. probably not going to be seeing Megumi pull out any of those Shikigami for combat, because I highly doubt we're gonna get anything but like maybe a brief battle, but like we're like the final battle of JJK was the Sukuna fight. Let's not get that misconstrued. Anyway, with the Divine Dogs, they can use their nose for tracking similar to just any other dog, and they have fangs and claws to tear apart curses. Fortunately, the White Dog has perished, and by the rules of the Ten Shadows technique, when a Shikigami perishes, it is forever gone. It is dead. Megumi is playing a Nuzlocke with his curse technique. Fortunately, in the case of Divine Dogs, its Black Twin inherited all of its power. Then you have Divine Dog Totality, which is basically a stronger version of that Black Dog, which it is basically just the Divine Dog, but even stronger. There isn't too much that is just bigger, stronger Divine Dog. Then you have Nue, which Megumi mainly uses for traversal and scouting, but it can also fight. He does try in his first fight with Sukuna, he tries running the hands on Sukuna while having Nue attack him, and also Nue can unleash some not particularly strong, but it can unleash electric shocks as well. Next up on the list of Megumi Shikigami is one of the ones we see the least of, if not the one we see the least, to the point where honestly I forget he has Great Serpent most of the time. Yeah, he does have the Great Serpent Snake Shinigami, which can bound and destroy low-level curses. Unfortunately, it only held Sukuna for like a moment before being destroyed. And I should clarify that all Shikigami's power get transferred to another one upon their destruction. That's not a Divine Dog. It just, to this day, we still don't know which of Megumi Shikigami inherited Great Serpent's power. If I had to take a guess, I mean, like, maybe Nue, but, like, I don't know, man. And then we have Toad. Most of them do have, like, cool names. Toad is just literally called Toad. And it's a more supportive type Shikigami, which, I mean, technically all of them are supportive type Shikigami, but, like, you get the point. Its main purpose is to pull Megumi and his allies away from safety. Doesn't do too much else. And then we have a combination type Shikigami, Unknown Wells Abyss, which is a combination of Nue and Gamma, where he can summon multiple of these winged toads that help support Megumi in battle. And unlike the other Shikigami that Megumi has in his employ, they cannot be destroyed. And then we have what I believe to be Megumi's strongest Shikigami, ignoring the trump card and Divine Dog Totality, Max Elephant. Max Elephant has low level water manipulation, not low water level manipulation, where it can burst out water from its trunk for offensive purposes, and Megumi can also just try and crush people with the elephant's weight. Now we have Megumi's final Shikigami and his trump card, which is, in my opinion, his weakest Shikigami, Rapid Escape. While it's not completely useless, the main point of Rapid Escape is to distract his enemies, which I don't think works that well because most halfway decent sorcerers, curses, or curse users should be able to pick up on Megumi by his cursed energy. But the other purpose of Rabbit Escape, which doesn't make it totally worthless, is the fact that it can be easily used to sort of bait out an opponent's technique and see what they can do with it. And since it's a swarm of rabbits, I imagine it can be destroyed, but only if every single rabbit is destroyed. And then there is his trump card, which he hasn't tamed, and I don't think he ever will, because it is, at the very least, I used to be able to say this in one go. I'm going to see if I can do it. 8 Sword Grip Scylla Divine General Maharaga. Or Makora, I think that's one way you can pronounce it. I've always pronounced it Maharaga, and even if Makora might technically be correct, I'm sticking with Maharaga, which has the adaptation ability, extremely potent, except Megumi hasn't tamed it and probably never will. No one in the Zenin clan history has been able to tame Maharaga, and they likely never will. The only one who's done it is Sukuna, and that's because he's Sukuna. That's all for Megumi's battle prowess and his abilities. We do technically have 2 sword-type curse tools that Megumi uses at some point, but they don't have names. And we don't know if they have any extra abilities, because there are curse tools with special abilities. Inverted Spear of Heaven can cut through cursed energy, and Soul Split Katana can deal soul damage. Besides that, that's all I have to say about Megumi Fushiguro. So it isn't as much of a glaze and yap session as I imagined to. But once again, it is 8 in the morning, so that's probably why. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you guys want to see more like it, or just have any video ideas you guys will want me to see me cover in the future, let me know in the comments below. This has been it to me. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey everyone, it's editing. It's me here. I don't know how, but I just didn't realize until now that despite mentioning that Megumi's domain expansion is one of my favorites in the whole series, I forgot to go over it at the end of the video. So because I caught that in editing, we're just gonna go over it really quick now. Megumi's domain expansion, Chimera Shadow Garden, is the rare and, as far as I know, only example of an incomplete domain in the series. It has no barrier, but unlike Sukuna or Kenjaku's, this isn't because it's like a huge sheet of sorcery. It's because Megumi, as we see at the end of the story as well, because don't see another proper fight with Megumi after he becomes Sukuna's vessel. Keep spacing out. It's incomplete. It doesn't even have its sure hit factor. But the Tank Shadows technique is still up to 120%. And Megumi can still trap his opponents, but he has to completely envelop whatever building he's in shadows of Chimera Shadow Garden. Now, onto Chimera Shadow Garden's actual abilities. Megumi can produce any of the 10 Shadow Shikigami within, and he can even create perfect shadow clones. Don't have too much to say. That's Megumi's domain expansion. Yeah, it should have been in the original video, but I goofed out there. So yeah, see you guys for whatever's next on the channel.